Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the listening public, the beautiful people here on the island of Nevis, those on our sister St. Kitts, those who are listening throughout the Caribbean. Let me single out in the Caribbean the good people of the British Virgin Islands. I was there recently at Peter Island. I had a fantastic time. The hospitality was incredible, and I really enjoyed it. It was my first time going to an island other than Tortola, and I really enjoyed it. I promise I'll come back because they're telling me I need to go to Virgin Gorda and Antigua and Mosquito Island. They say Necker Island. They have all kinds of islands down there, so I have to check it out. But thank you very much. I was invited here to be part of the BVI Ideas Festival, organized by Russell and Portia Harrigan and their team. It was exceptional. And so I thank them for inviting me. I had the opportunity to share stage with the Premier of the BVI, the Honorable Natalia Wheatley, and we really had a good exchange talking about development in terms of our small islands and the challenges that we face, but also, of course, the opportunities that exist. So good evening, especially to the people of the BVI. Good evening to all the people who are listening all across the Caribbean, all across our diaspora, those in the US and the UK, those in Canada, of course. I'm told it's getting cold. Just want you to let you know that it's warm and cozy, very nice. The weather tonight is amazing. Nevis, the stars are out. The ocean is there. Killer bees are flowing. If you're cold, well, get on the plane. Come home. That's the good thing. You have some place to come call home, and that home is Nevis. So, if you're cold, I'm not saying I'm going to sympathize with you. I'm going to encourage you to get out of the cold and come to Nevis and put your toes in the sand and your feet in the ocean, your feet in the hot springs. That's what we are all about. So please come, and it's winter time, it's Christmas time that's up and coming soon, and so we look forward to seeing you. Good evening to one and all. For those out there who are having birthdays or some celebration, I celebrate with you. Congratulations, happy birthday. And for those, of course, who are struggling, who might have lost loved ones, I extend my condolences to you. And for those who might be hospitalized, I extend, of course, my best wishes for your speedy recovery. This is On The Mark, and I'm your host, Mark Brantley, and I am trying to get through this introduction quite quickly because I have some very important people who are here with me this evening. They're going to spend about a half an hour with me to talk to you about important things. And so I'm going to turn the show over to them for the next half an hour. They thought that what they had to say was important enough, and I agree that on a platform such as this, which we know is widely listened to, that they will share that information with you. And so I will ask them to introduce themselves and to tell you why they're here and to get into the information that they have to share. So I turn things over to you, and you are now in charge of On The Mark.
Good evening, everyone out there in Radio Land. It's nice to be here tonight with our Honorable Premier. Yes. I am Agnola Hendrickson. Tonight I represent the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program as the person who's going to be delivering a lot of the information as the Public Relations Officer. We are very excited tonight because coming up this weekend on Friday, the 21st of November, and Saturday, the 22nd of November, we are going to have a special mail call, Men and Boys Conference. And while we are on that topic, I would like to say Happy International Men's Day to all the men out there. Yes. We certainly appreciate all our men, all the guidance, all the wisdom, whatever they provide for us. We appreciate it very much. Now, to get into the meat of the matter, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mario Phillip, who is the chairman of the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program, to give you information.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much, Agnola, our capable and competent public relations officer. And thank you so much, Honorable Premier, for having us here with you this evening. As Agnola mentioned, we are heading to exciting times. The Nevis Boys Mentorship Program has been working hard to support men and boys here on the island of Nevis, and so it is nothing unusual for us at this time to celebrate and recognize men in this special way. And it is fitting, since we celebrate today International Men's Day, for us to do something a bit more at this time of the year. And so on Saturday, as you heard, on Friday and Saturday, as you heard from Agnola, we would be having our very first Men and Boys Conference. It is called Male Call, and it's Male Call because there is it is a call for our men, a rallying cry for our men and boys to come and be empowered, to step up to the plate, to take charge of their lives, and to begin to make positive strides and continue positive strides, so that we can positively affect and impact our community. So Male Call is in two parts. On Friday, we have on Friday evening the boys session of Male Call, and so that will take place at 5 p.m. at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, and we have coming in from the British Virgin Islands our featured speaker, who is Mr. Henderson Tittle. He's no stranger to the island of Nevis. He has been here on numerous occasions. He's a dynamic presenter, and he's coming again. He's ready for Male Call. In a few moments, we'll let you hear from Mr. Tittle in his own words. So, because we have a message from him queued up. But I just want to let you know that for all of the boys on the island, the parents of boys, it is your turn on Friday evening to have your boys empowered boys for yourself. Let your parents know that you want to be there at Malcolm Gishard Park for Male Call. The theme for the boys session is Empowered for Life. You don't want anything better than that. As boys, you have your whole life ahead of you, and you need to be ready to face the challenges, to surmount any obstacle that comes your way. And so you are going to get the tools on Friday afternoon. Remember, at 5 p.m. sharp, we are at Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park. There would be fun and games, there would be prizes and surprises, and then the featured speaker would present as well to edify our boys to be empowered for life. And on the following day, that is Saturday, the 22nd of November, men, it's your turn. We start at 8 o'clock sharp, and you are going to be in for a treat, men. The topic for Friday morning session is money, manhood, and marriage. Right, so Agnola has a broad smile on her face. You know, she's not a man, but I guess she's excited to hear men getting equipped for money, manhood, and marriage. And the Honorable Premier said, so that means it's serious things. So men, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it. Right? Some serious topics. That's the theme for the entire session. So the featured presentation by Mr. Tittle from the BVI would be on that theme: money, manhood, and marriage. But we have a number of breakout sessions, a number of panels as well by local presenters here on the island of Nevis and from St. Kitts, who would be doing their part, you know, to support the featured speaker in getting that message home to our men. And as I said, there would be panel discussions, so you won't be having somebody lecture you, you know, from morning until noon. It would be a time meant for you to share your views, to ventilate the issues. One of the topics that we have, the very first one, is the Brotherhood Baton, and that would look at the whole idea and concept of mentorship. We're the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program, after all, and so we want to equip men in their own spheres of influence to be prepared and to look at, consider being mentors. And it is essentially the grasping of wisdom and capacity and skills, and also the giving. So you have grasping and giving. We have to take from generations before us and we have to give to the generations that are coming after us. So that's very important for us as men. And so we would be equipped in that session. We have other breakout sessions and panels entitled, well, let me save that one for last. Right? We have a business mission. So men who want to be entrepreneurs or who want to hone their skills, we have some well qualified leaders in business who would be there to share the tricks of the trade, what they have learned, let you know about their downfalls and how you could very truly and honestly and effectively make a money, right? So you would be able to hear a bit about that and that panel. Then we also have the purpose-driven man, and that would encapsulate a whole lot of things, from your health to what is your calling, why are you here? We sometimes, that's the question, or the questions of life. What am I here for? What am I called to do? Right? So we would be unpacking that. And then this one has a lot of buzz, right? We have a panel discussion that is entitled The Feminine Mystery. I'm laughing because with everybody that I discuss this with, it is one of intrigue. So men, you have to come out to understand, to hear, to give your input on the feminine mystery, right? We have a number of speakers for that topic, well qualified counselors and family men who have been married for years. There's this one gentleman, when I spoke to his wife said, he's definitely the one because he put up with me and I'm not easy to be married to. Right? And so you have some persons that are well approved by the people they live with, right? And Agnola is laughing because we are also going to have, that's the only panel that will have women on it, right? So there would be women on that panel because I was telling Agnola I don't want to hear about the feminine mystery from a man alone. So gentlemen, you would have a mixture of men who they're well advanced in the mystery, and then the women would be there to verify what they say, to check and make sure that it's balanced information. And so those, and of course, again, the topic for Saturday morning is money, manhood, and marriage. So our featured presenter again, Mr. Henderson Tittle, he would be giving the keynote address, so to speak. And so you don't want to miss it. You want to ensure that you register. Agnola would share about how you can register. It's available on the flyer, but she'll give you some more information. And so it is mail call. There are a number of challenges that we face in St. Kitts and Nevis. 51% of our households in St. Kitts and Nevis are female-headed, right? Single females heading our households. That is abnormal and unusual in the world, but also in the English-speaking Caribbean, we have the highest rate of single parent households. So what does that mean for the boy who is growing up without a father in the home? What does that mean for the mother that is doing both work, right, of mother and father, and the stress that she's under to provide and to ensure everything goes well? And is she balancing it well, or is she sometimes taking it out on the children? Some of those things happen. We are going to discuss them, but there's a call for our men to step up to the plate, to show up, give our women at ease, to lead by example, and give our sons, our boys, some good indication as to what it is to be a responsible man, a man who is impacting positively the family and the society, so that Nevis and St. Kitts can be a better place, right? And so that's why we're issuing a mail call, so men and boys can stand up and live up. And it's when else would be a more fitting time than when we celebrate International Men's Day. And so the call is going out, and we're saying, men, stand up and be counted. And this call is not only going out for men and boys in Nevis, but also on St. Kitts. A number of our presenters would be coming from St. Kitts, And the call is going out to Kittitians. You can register. We have a boat available. Agnola would tell you about our sponsor, who, well, I think I should say now, Blue Waves. They have come on board to transfer anybody from St. Kitts who wants to attend the conference. So of course you have to register to get on that boat, and so it is free of cost to you to come on the boat. All you have to do is to pay the contribution. For our boys it's just $10, and for the men, for your session, it's just $25. So in both St. Kitts and Nevis, we have our partners from the Antioch Baptist Church, and also Pastor Clive Saunders and the St. Kitts Nevis Scout Group. They would be bringing contingents from St. Kitts, and so nobody in this federation has a reason to miss the mail call. Agnola?
Okay, so with a conference of this magnitude, I'm sure we know that this is going to cost quite a bit. But I am happy to report that there are many companies who have come on board and say, I want to partner with you in this venture. So tonight, we just want to pause and give them a special shout out. First, the Ministry of Health and Gender Affairs, the Bank of Nevis Limited, Blue Waves Water Taxi and Tours, who would be transporting men and boys from St. Kitts on both Friday and Saturday, Boddy's Restaurant, the Nevis Methodist Circuit, Nevis Peak Brewery, Antioch Baptist Church, Nevis Spring Water, Amory Bakery and Enterprise, Island Moldings, Hosford's Value Mart, Mars Modern Appliances, Weekends Bar and Grill, Sunshine Beach Bar, The Finished Touch, Pastor Clive Saunders out of St. Kitts, Five Trees, The King's Barbershop, Polish Me Pretty, St. Kitts Nevis and Anguilla National Bank, Huge Fun, which is our board game sponsor, and Skin Concrete and Equipment Limited.
SKN Concrete.
SKN. We would like to express our profound thank you to all of these sponsors who have come on board and said, here am I'm going to give a contribution in one way or another, because we could not have done it without our sponsors. So on behalf of the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program, I just want to say a big hearty thank you and express our profound gratitude for your sponsorship. While we are on sponsors, I also want to take this time out to give a shout out to those sponsors who have been consistent from the inception of the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program.
That is since 2022.
Right. And they are, in no particular order, Boddy's Restaurant, Best Buy Supermarket, the Nevis Bakery, Claxton Services, Nevis Spring Water, and Huge Fun, which is that board game company we spoke about. We appreciate all that you do for the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program. Back over to you, Mario.
Okay, so before you go back to Mario, first of all, I want to commend the effort that is being made. A lot of times I think men feel that programs don't exist for them, and that we focus a lot on women. In fact, it's a running sort of narrative that gender is all about women. And so it is commendable that we are really pulling out all of the stops for the men in the Federation, recognizing them. I join each of you in wishing our men a happy International Men's Day. Yes. Being a man myself, I would say every day is Men's Day, but you know, that's something I'm sure the ladies would debate. But it is, I think, important that we emphasize the critical relevance of men in the home, in the community, in the society generally. And that the statistics that we're hearing about women, I think you suggested is 51%, that women head in households is not a good statistic in the sense that a lot of our women, and this is not something new, but a lot of our women are forced to play the role of both mother and father.
Yeah.
True.
And that is a poor reflection on our men. So while, yes, we want to celebrate our men, I also want to say to our men, we need to pull up our socks and we need to do better. You know, I recall having a conversation with a young man who came to me seeking some assistance because he said the bailiff was looking for him. And I said, the bailiff was looking for you for what? And he said, child support. And I'm very sensitive to those types of issues because I always feel that regardless of the relationship between mother and father, the child needs to be supported.
That's true.
But I thought that it was an important inflection point. And so I said to him, well, how many children do you have? And he said he has 6. And I said, 6 children? Why don't you use birth control? I said, you know, you can get condoms at the clinic for free, at the hospital for free,
At the Department
you
of
know, at
Gender.
the Department of Gender for free. And he was very insulted that I suggested that to him. And then he said to me that he had 6 children from 6 different women. And when I asked him why, and this is a true story, I asked him why. And he said, because women like to tell lie. So whenever I go with a woman, I make sure I get her pregnant because she could never tell nobody that I wasn't there. And I said to him, I said, so you're telling me that you have 6 children from 6 different women. You can't afford, because the fact that the bailiff is looking for you means that you're not paying your child support.
Yeah.
So you can't afford to support them. But for you, it's a badge of honor to say that you have 6 children with 6 different women, because anytime you go with a woman, you have to get her pregnant. Because you need evidence to show that you were there. I said, first of all, whose business is it? I don't care. And I don't think anybody else should care. It's your private business. But I make the point to say that there's a lot of irresponsible behavior out there.
Yeah.
And so even as we encourage men to step up and men to come forward, I also want to encourage those men out there who are taking the sowing of their wild oats literally and are going around and having children here, there, and everywhere, that it's an important aspect to development that they play a role in the lives of their children, for their development, for their support, emotionally, mentally, and financially, and that our men start to really stand up to their responsibility.
Yeah.
And I want to really send a shout out, even though we're celebrating men, to the women out there who are really man and woman for so many households on this island of Nevis. And I'm hopeful that these types of initiatives will really encourage men to do the right thing, to stand up to their responsibility, and to order their lives in such a way that they can afford to stand up to their responsibility.
Yes, yes.
And can really, you know, conduct themselves in a way that is mature, and a word I like to use on this show, responsible. Because that's important. What I see happening, unfortunately, on the island is that a lot of children are the ones who end up suffering.
Yes.
They're the ones who end up suffering. So you talk about the mother who's doing mother and father duties, who has to protect that child, who has to work for that child, who has to go out, come home, take care of that child, who has to do all of that. She's only human. She gets frustrated as well. And
it's unfair.
Of course it's unfair. So the children end up being ultimately the ones who are neglected or the ones who suffer.
Well,
Right?
this is one of the main reasons why we are taking time to have programs, conferences, and initiatives like this, because well, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm in a room with 2 men, but I'm sure you can agree that men do not like to ask for help, and that is a problem, not just in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, but worldwide. So it's okay for men to ask for help. It's okay to say, well, I need help in this area or that area. And because we know and we are familiar with the culture in which we live, here comes the Department of Gender Affairs, more specifically the Nevis Boys Mentorship Program, and say, okay, we recognize that you need assistance in this area. So what we're going to do, we're not going to ask you specifically what the area is. We know what the areas are, so we're going to bring someone in who has enough experience that could talk to you about these issues, and you're comfortable enough to share. So now we have the whole community is involved now.
Yes.
And there's the opportunity, because we're expecting 100 boys and 100 men. So there's the opportunity now for all the men to get together and really be able to talk about the things that matter to them most. And by doing so, we are hoping that they would leave there more empowered, have more information, and be able to conduct themselves even better than they used to before, and know that there's a network that stands behind them and say, okay, here we are, we're here to support you. And also for the boys, the session is called Empowered for Life. We want to make sure that these young men know exactly, I mean, you will never know everything foolproof, but have enough information to conduct themselves as you say, responsible young men in society. So they will not go up and do the things that you mentioned, having the 6 kids with 6 different people. So if we can come along and help, I think it's a win-win for us.
So my concern, and I know we're running out of time, but my concern is really, I have seen efforts like these, and I'm very proud to lead a government which has really championed gender and tried very hard to create programs that can benefit men, women, the whole society.
Yeah.
But I have seen situations where it is really the men who are responsible men who respond.
That is
So it is the fathers who are doing their role already, but want to see how they could improve their role, who respond. The fellow who out there who is just, frankly, not doing what he's supposed to do is not normally the person who say, hey, let me go to this seminar. Right? So I have seen at some of these seminars the fellows who are really already dedicated fathers and husbands and partners who are just saying, well, let me go and see if I could pick up some tips as to how I could do things even better. I'm wondering how we reach those fellows who really, they work and they come on a Friday and they drink off most of the money at the bar, and they head to wherever they head to, and the last thing in their mind is taking care of their responsibilities. How do you reach that demographic?
Well, let me go first. Those men that are coming who are responsible, like you said, and need to get more information, we are hoping that since we can't reach, we might not be able to reach them, those men will be the ones who will be able to reach them, whether it's on their job, in their churches, because they're not going to come to Mario or I. They will talk to probably the men at work, the men in their church, in their community. So those men, we are hoping would take that information and pass it on so that they'll be able to get the information that they need.
Yes, definitely. And we have been getting the word out through social media, on television. Now we are on radio. We have done news items, and so we're getting the word around. Our sponsors, we have a long list of sponsors of various kinds. We've asked them to invite the men that work with them, and so we are hoping even a few of those men who are in the greatest need of help would show up. But we know that if we get 100 men, or even 80 or 70 who come there and they're impacted, there would be 100 men on a mission having answered the mail call to impact others. Mr. Premier, you mentioned that the men who live irresponsibly, getting the 6 children and looking for the 7th, they are not able financially to support their children. That's why we have what the topic is money. That's the first topic for the men: money, manhood, and marriage. And you see, manhood as well. What is it that would tell a man that it is important for me to go about proving to nobody, because I don't know who is watching, to see what evidence you have that you've been with 6 women. But in that man's mind, he is thinking that I must prove myself to be macho, to be a man. So that's what manhood means to him. And I'm the secretary of the Caribbean's men's organization. And one of the things that we are always considering is, what does it mean to be a Caribbean man? And we're looking to change the focus from those negative masculinities where men think that, you know, I have to have all the women, girl in a bungle, as some of the artists say, and I have to, you know, have the ability to fire a gun and to be a gangster and to fight anybody at any time. Those are the kind of things that we want to get rid of and move in to the focus of positive masculinities. Men who are responsible, men that can demonstrate that they think about the future enough so that I can meet all my obligations. So I considered, as you suggested, Mr. Premier, birth control. So I know I want this many children because this is the number of children I can look after. That's a responsible man. That's a man who, and any woman listening out there, that's a man who loves you. Because he's not going to just give you a heap of children and then just have an empty hand to say, well, sorry for you, I can't help.
True. Right?
So this is the positive masculinity that we're looking to develop here in Nevis. And we're saying, all of you men out there, it's International Men's Day. The theme is celebrating men and boys. You have within you the ability to be a positive role model, to embrace positive masculinity, to consider what your manhood is. Your manhood is not going to affect anybody detrimentally. Your manhood is going to bring our nation to a better place. And so we have with us, before Agnola gives the last call for registration, we have Mr. Tittle, in his own words, encouraging all of us this evening to register for mail call.
So we have a clip that we can
Yes.
play? Yeah.
Peace and blessing to all the men of St. Kitts Nevis. It's mail call. Our mail call. It's on. Calling all men from across the region. It's mail call and it's going down in Nevis. You can't afford to miss it. On Friday, we are going to meet with the boys in the afternoon from 5 to 8. Then on Saturday, the big boys are going to show up where we're going to talk about power, money, and sex. All the things that pertain to a man. What a man should know. How a man should do. What a man should not do. Come on out. I'm waiting and I'm excited. I am Henderson Tittle and I'm going to be there. The rest of the BVI is behind us and we are there with the gender affairs. We are going to have a great time. Calling all men. It's mail call. Let's get it and let's get it purpose. On Friday, the boys, parents, send your boys out. Friday evening, the Gishard Park will come alive. Friday from 5 until 8, we're going to talk to the boys. They need to know about their purpose, they need to know about their power, and they need to know about the perspective and how we are going to conquer all those giants. Come on down, send your boys. And for the men, I'm looking forward to see you in the morning. That will be the Saturday. This Saturday, looking forward to seeing you guys. I'm coming. I hope you're ready. Let's get it. Let's get it by purpose. Greatness is upon us.
Well, after that interesting video, I'm sure no one would want to miss the conference. So to register for the conference, you can either scan the QR code that's on the flyer, or you can call 669-6894 or 663-7655 or 662-8577 for registration. You can also email nevismentorship@gmail.com. And the cost for the conference, boys are $10 and men, the Saturday session for men is $25.
Yes, and so if you just send a WhatsApp message to that number, just send a message, mail call to that number, it is 662-663-7655, 663-7655. Just shoot a message, mail call, and we would know you want the registration link. send that right to you. And so you can be registered and answer the call for our men and boys.
Okay, well, I want to thank you both. We did say that we would give you the top half hour of the show, and I don't know if you have any parting words that you would like to leave with the audience, but I'm pretty sure that people recognize and appreciate the tremendous effort that we're making. I'm encouraging, of course, our men to come out and to be a part of this and really to take advantage of the opportunities that are being provided for them to learn and to commix and commingle, a terminology that I stole from good Father Percival, and really to be a part of what's happening. We are all about building the community, building society, and making us better. So, if you have parting words?
Well, I would just want to say it's male call. And so if you're a man, you're a boy, you need to answer the call. This is a call not just to the conference, but this is a call for men and boys to take responsibility and stand up for St. Kitts and Nevis, to be the difference. So men, you can be the difference, be the father that you didn't have. You could be the mentor that you didn't see coming to check on you. And you could be the teacher that you wish you had in your life. And so step up. Boys, this is your opportunity. Get the tools so you could be empowered for life. So you could be somebody's teacher, somebody's mentor as you grow up. You could choose, make the right choices. When we see the statistics in our country that our households are led primarily by women, we are our men. You can step up to the plate. This is the call to all men. Step up to the plate. When we see how our prison has hundreds of men, there's not even 100 women in prison, not even 50. And so it's not that St. Kitts and Nevis have bad people, right? Otherwise you would see it's not just across the board. You would see both women and men in close to equal proportions. It means something is wrong with our men, and we're saying, men, no, let's turn this thing around. And so we're calling for men who would say, I will stand up. This is the male call, and you can answer.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Honorable Premier. I am looking forward to seeing all the men and boys on Friday and Saturday, because I, for one, can't wait to hear what's going to come from all those hot topics that Mario spoke about earlier. So thank you so much for the time, and we look forward to welcoming all the men and boys this Friday and Saturday at the Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much. Thank you for being here and for sharing your information with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark, and we had with us two guests who were sharing information about the International Men's Day. And again, happy International Men's Day to everyone, and to the various programs that are being put on for International Men's Day, empowering boys and men as we seek to build a better society here on the island of Nevis. And so I thank them very much for their time and for their effort, and a lot of this is volunteer effort, so let me emphasize that. So it's very important that we give credit where credit is due, and to say thank you to these individuals who continue to give of their time and their talent in order to help move Nevis forward. This is On the Mark. I had a few matters, but of course this was so important that they asked me for some time. But I had a few matters that I wanted to put on the table. I want to first of all say that our film industry is going well. That we currently have on island yet another film, feature film, that is being put together. And I want to welcome those film producers, actors, actresses who are here on island, film crew who are here on island, for their effort, and to thank them for partnering with the Nevis Island Administration and with our Film Commission to produce movies on the island of Nevis. During the height of COVID, we had this crazy idea, some may say, but it really shows the level to which this cabinet and this government is prepared to do things differently, to innovate. While most people were merely trying to survive during COVID, we thought, how could we use it as an opportunity? How could we use it to try something new and something different? And yes, of course, there was criticism. That is always the case in any democracy. But we pushed ahead. And since then, we've had a number of films that have been done right here on Nevis. We have developed a young cadre of persons, local, who are now doing hair, makeup, who are doing set design, who are doing costume. We have people who know about directing, who know about sound and lighting, mixing, editing. We are developing a cadre of people, and of course it doesn't happen overnight, but we have seen remarkable response from around the world. I believe that the feature film that is now being done on Nevis is either the 4th or 5th production on the island for this year. That's phenomenal. It's truly phenomenal, and I want to give absolute credit to all who have been involved. I want to credit the Film Commission, of course. It's led by Pamela Martin. I want to credit the cabinet that has had the strength and the vision to put this together. And I want to certainly credit all of those film producers across the world who have had confidence in us and have decided to partner with us. So for me, this is really a project. It is something that is near to my heart. It is something that I got a lot of licks on, but something that I persevered with. And certainly it seems now to be bearing spectacular fruit. Let us work to develop this niche industry. It is yet another example of Nevis trying to diversify its economy. We recognize the importance of tourism. We recognize the importance of financial services, but we also recognize that there's a need to diversify. And so what have we done? The movie industry, the film industry. What have we done? Legislation to create an online gaming industry. What have we done? Sustainable zones, to create sustainable economic zones and to work with the federal government in that regard. These things are not isolated, ladies and gentlemen. They're all an ongoing effort to create avenues for revenue and for economic growth. Nevis cannot afford to remain stagnant. We cannot continue to do the same things we always did and expect to get different results. If we continue to do the things we always did, we can only get the results we always got. And that, I think, is an important yardstick, an important guide for us moving forward. We must continue to press ahead. We must continue to innovate. We must continue to try our very best to move this island forward and to propel this island forward. And so what do we have in the pipeline? We have a massive project that has been proposed on the southern corridor of Nevis. Yes, there have been some opposition to it, but more and more. In fact, just this afternoon we had a very, very good town hall meeting with our teaching fraternity. I would estimate, based on the size and the capacity of NEPAC, that we had about 300 teachers that showed up to this meeting this afternoon. Some left, of course, because they had things to do, but quite a few stayed until the very end. We started a bit late because we had some technical glitches, but I think that we spent a solid 2.5 hours together, and we had good conversations. It is, I think, yet another demonstration of how seriously this government takes consultation and takes engaging with our people. And I want to make the point, with all the controversy that has erupted, some of it manufactured, of course, about this proposed development for Nevis, there is a particular conundrum. Let me use that language. Because we had an opposition in Nevis who kept saying to the Nevisian people, Mark Brantley and the CCM have not been able to bring any significant development to Nevis. You all well remember the phrase, nothing happening in Nevis. Not na kip. Not na kip. Nothing is happening. Now that we have brought a significant development, the same people who used to say not na kip are now opposed to that development. So it begs the question, what do we want for Nevis? And it's a question as the leader of Nevis that I've been grappling with. What do we want for Nevis? Do we want progress, development, advancement? Or do we want Nevis preserved in time and kept as what it is now? I am not saying that one is superior to the other, but I am asking the genuine question, what is it do we want as an island and as a people? I have seen the Charleston Secondary School and the Nevis Sixth Form advertise that I think it's the 25th of November they're going to have their graduation. The Gingerland Secondary School is going to have the graduation a day later. Together, those institutions are going to put well over 200 young people into the workplace. Some may go on to sixth form, those who are leaving fifth form, but certainly the sixth formers will be looking for work. What am I to tell them as the Premier of Nevis? Sorry? Go to Puerto Rico, go to USVI, go to Tortola, go to St. Martin, go to New York, go to London? Or do I have a responsibility as Premier to tell them that I am creating opportunities for them right here in the land of their birth? And that they do not have to leave to go anywhere to make a living, as so many of our people have had to do. Our people moved to places like Bermuda and helped build Bermuda. Bermuda is now, on a per capita basis, one of the richest places in the world. Not in the Caribbean, in the world. Our people even now have helped to build Canada, United States, the US Virgin Islands, the British Virgin Islands, St. Martin, Anguilla. Our people are everywhere making their contribution and helping to build those countries. But why are some seemingly upset with me that as Premier of Nevis I'm saying that I want to keep our people in Nevis to help me build Nevis? What is so wrong with that? What is so wrong with encouraging our people to come back home and responding to them in a positive way when they say, yes, I'm willing to come, but you must have opportunity in Nevis for me to come? You see, part of the luxury of being in opposition is that you don't have any responsibility. You talk all day, you criticize everything, you offer no solutions, you offer no plans of your own. There is no responsibility. It's an incredible luxury. I, on the other hand, have the responsibility of moving this island forward. And that is why I have been engaging. Now, I was on a program last night, and one of the things that was said to me whilst I was on that program is, and I paraphrase, oh, you're talking too much about this South Coast project. It's almost as if you're the PRO. And I smiled. And the reason I smiled is because I responded and said, not so long ago, the attack that was being leveled at me and my government is that this whole thing was a big secret. I'm sure you all remember that. They said it was a secret. So now that we have come with information, now that we have come with stakeholder meetings and town hall meetings and engagements with the public, the same people who said it was a secret now say, you talk too much. We don't want to hear nothing from you. You understand me? In case you're wondering, this is some honey and lime that I'm sipping on, because my throat has been a little hoarse. But the same people, ladies and gentlemen, who castigated us saying that we were doing things in secret, are the very people who now say, you're talking too much. We don't want to hear nothing from you. You are now the PRO of the project. And then I'm hearing now, they prefer to hear from the developers themselves and they don't want to hear anything from the government. Well, I'm the Premier of Nevis. And as the Premier of Nevis, I have a responsibility to share information. And that is exactly what I did. I made a commitment at a town hall meeting that the government held in Hanley's Road that when information became available, I would be speaking to the public about that. And say what you will, I have kept that commitment. We have now had a series of engagements, business community, church community, police, opposition, media, tourism stakeholders, general population, teachers, students. We have had engagements the length and breadth of Nevis on this matter. In fact, it is a project like no other, because no other project has ever had this level of consultation. Now, those who are making all the sound and fury and accusing us of doing things in private and in secret are now saying, you're too open. You're talking too much. We don't want to hear anything further from you. I actually view that as a badge of honor. I think that's a good thing. Because you can't now say that there's any secrecy or any on-the-table deal or behind-bush deal. It is a model of transparency and openness. And that is what my government has always stood for. Now, what then is our responsibility? Our responsibility as a government is to create opportunity for our people. When these developers spoke to us, we said to them, hey, make sure that there is a provision in any potential agreement that the people of Nevis and St. Kitts will get first dibs, first choice, first opportunity at any jobs that become available. And they said yes. And when I say the people, I mean the people who are here, but I also mean the people who are in the diaspora. Because I have my eye on you guys, you know. Just in January this year, we published a whole incredible set of concessions that we're prepared to give you to come back home or to invest at home. I have my eyes on you. We know that the outer world has become more hostile to immigrants. The great United States, the great United Kingdom, the European Union, all of them have become hostile. But the beautiful thing about you, the people of Nevis, is you have a place called home. And that's Nevis. Come home. I see some who are perched abroad, who have spent all of their life abroad, who have paid their taxes, invested, and used their talent to develop abroad, who are on social media every day, now seeking to tell the people of Nevis, whilst they're still abroad, what we should do and what we should not do. And my appeal to Nevisians in the diaspora is simple. Don't just be a Facebook warrior. Don't just be on your keyboard and trying to tell us here at home what to do. Be a part of our development. The same way you boast and say your neighbor string berry in Castle, your neighbor string berry in Henley Park. I want you also to boast and say, I got a piece of land down there, you know. I built a little house down there, you know. I got a little business down there, you know. Be a part of our development. It cannot be that your patriotism is only reflected in you giving an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. I want to see you do a bit more than that. And whilst I recognize that not everybody is in a position to do it, I know that some of you are. And for whatever reason, you choose not to. And it bothers me. Because while you're investing all that you've earned in the great United States and elsewhere, little Nevis that you claim to love, you don't even own a full cub. You're not even prepared to open a little stall that's selling Freco. And so a man could come and say he want the red and he want the orange syrup on the ice. Not even that you're prepared to do. But you're prepared to stay behind a keyboard and tell the people of Nevis what they should do and what they should not do. I am calling upon our people abroad. Invest. You know the irony is, we may not need any destiny. We may not need any foreign investment. If only our own people in the diaspora and those at home were prepared to invest some more. There are many divisions out there who have the capacity to invest. Many who have the intellectual capacity to drive ideas and innovation here. And it's unfortunate that many of them choose not to. But whilst they choose not to, they continue to talk. Well, we know talk is cheap. I've been talking since I was 2. Most people talk quite early in life. But where is the beef? How do you support that talk? How do you demonstrate? How do you show that you are truly committed to our development? Because sometimes I despair. Because I say, with all the criticisms of various ideas that come forward, I have never heard those critics offer an alternative idea. I want the public to understand me very carefully. It is not to suggest that criticism is bad. A lot of criticism is actually quite helpful. But if you're going to criticize the government for seeking to develop Nevis, then for God's sake, what then do you propose as an alternative? What set of ideas do you think you can advance? And the answer is nothing. Nothing. So therein lies the problem. Because a lot of people are just talking for talking's sake. They're not offering any solutions. They're not offering any ideas. They're not suggesting to us that this is a better way. They're just opposed for the sake of opposing. And how does that help anybody? I hear people talking about politics and you know, I'm a politician. And I think my record would show that when the time comes and I go into that mode, I'm very, very, very hard to beat. In fact, I've never been beaten. I'm not saying I cannot be beaten, but I'm saying I've never been beaten. There was one aberration caused by a traitorous black fox in Cox. But we got rid of him. And since then, never been beaten. And so, people ought to know by now that the CCM, Mark Brantley, the team, that we are a team that is well-oiled, well-conditioned, well-experienced, and understands the politics and understands the art of winning elections. Some people talk, but at the end of the day, they don't know how to win because they cannot command the confidence of the people of Nevis. And so I don't concern myself with those who are caught up and talking about they want elections and bring elections. You know you're going to get licks. You're asking for the licks to come early. When I was a youngster and I did something wrong, I tried to go home as late as possible. You know why? I'm delaying the blows. You want the licks to come early? That don't make no sense. But some of them are hype up. And I'm saying to them, listen, if by some miracle there was a change of government in Nevis, you think a new government, differently constituted, will not have the same problems? So a new government is not going to have the same 200 plus children coming out of school asking, where are the opportunities for us? Is there going to be some magic wand that is waved and those young people are going to have immediate opportunity in the land of their birth? The answer is no. Development takes time. Policies take time. And if you all are capable only of cussing, only of criticizing, and have not advanced one scintilla of evidence that you are capable of moving this island forward, not one idea. The government said we're going to grow potato. You say growing potato is a bad idea. Well, what would you grow? Silence. What would you suggest as an alternative? Silence. Because there is no policy, there is no solution that's coming. Criticizing a man is not a solution to a problem, you know. Cussing a man is not a solution. Cussing may endure for the night, but the problems remain in the morning. So I continue to urge our people to ignore the noise. Focus. Because you have one set of people who are serious about development and serious about moving Nevis forward and trying to do their best to achieve that. To make sure that those children coming out on the 25th, 26th, 27th of November, that they have a future here. Those who are in America and Canada and the US and the USVI and Jamaica and Barbados and Trinidad going to school or university, that they can come home because there are opportunities at home. And those of you who are sitting down in Canada and America and elsewhere, you now say, listen, I can go home because not only is the opportunity, but the infrastructure and all of that has been developed to a point where I feel comfortable being in the land of my birth, Nevis. I can go down there and invest. But I have extreme difficulty sometimes dealing with those who don't see that they have any responsibility. They only see that they have a keyboard and they can cuss somebody and criticize somebody. And I remind you, this is the thought of the night. Cussing may endure for the night, but the problems remain in the morning. Think about it. We need, ladies and gentlemen, for serious people to get together. I've always said that we live in serious times, and serious times demand serious attention from serious people. We have a lot of people who are not serious, who are making a lot of noise, but at the end of the day are not offering to the people of Nevis any solutions whatsoever. Not one idea. Not one. And for me, that is a most unpatriotic position, because it tells me that you do not really care about the development of Nevis or about the people of Nevis. So let me go on record to thank the teachers who came out in their numbers. We know that on a Wednesday, school normally finishes earlier than normal, and so we use that opportunity to invite them to come, and they really showed up. I would estimate, as I said, that we had 300 or so, probably just over 300 teachers, and we had an excellent exchange. And so I thank them. They are the ones who mold our young people, and I was very, very pleased with the turnout and with the questions that they asked and with the quality of the engagement, respectful throughout and enlightening throughout. So I thank them very much for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the time is fast going. We have now 5 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. You know at 10 o'clock the band is going to strike up. So I'm going to be quiet, and I'm going to allow the next 55 minutes of the show to be yours. So this is the opportunity that you now have to call in at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Let's go immediately to the phones and say good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening, Miss Sheriff.
Good evening, my dear.
Isaiah 41 verse 28 and 29. For I beheld there was no man, even among them, and there was no counselor that when I asked of them could answer a word. Behold, they are all vanity. Their works are nothing. Their molded images are wind and confused. Have a good evening.
Thank you, my dear, and thank you as always for your scripture. The lines are open for those who may want to call. 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. While I wait for the phones to ring, let me therefore continue with my updates. I'm very happy to say that the airport project has, I don't want to say it has started, but there is activity. Let me put it that way. Today we had some boreholes being done, some testing that was being done on the runway and on various areas in the tarmac. That is all in preparation for the start of actual construction. We're very excited about that, and we're hoping that we can kick off that very soon. We continue to try to settle up with landowners that, you know, it's property, it takes a while, but we are confident that we'll get to where we need to get to. And I continue to credit the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who I tasked with leading that project, and we have now brought in the Honorable Michael Perkins, former speaker, former member of Parliament as well, who is the project manager. So Michael Perkins, of course, is an engineer. So we're strengthening the team and seeking to move forward on that particular project. So I am very happy that today I saw significant activity there. Minister Brand has reported that our drilling continues in Descents. So for those who might be hearing that drilling noise, we ask that you forgive us, but we're trying to ensure that Nevis has sufficient water to last us into the next 40 years. So that's a plan, and we're working on it. Let me go back to the phones and say good evening. You're on the mark.
Good night, Honorable Mark. How are you doing?
Good evening, my brother. I'm doing well, thank you.
Oh, my, I'm so glad I get in because you should have had to get in. So, yes, I call in and to tell you and let the public know. Good night to all your supporters who listen to your show worldwide and home or whatever. But I call it to let you know the band that you have in Nevis represent Nevis, St. Kitts and Nevis. Man, honeybees. Over the weekend, they did a great job. Marvelous representation. They did. Also, the people was proud of the young man that they walk with. The little, I call it the little minor.
Yeah.
Between some big men. Listen, when the little boy start to blow the flute and a rebel.
The fife.
Yeah.
That's the fife, man, yes.
Man, by the people went off and say, what? Such a young man there between them by blowing so good. And, you know, it's 3 days, those guys play Friday, Saturday and Sunday, just one day, Satola and Potangara they play. And they really represent Nevis. I have to big them up for the job that they did when I was there for the weekend. And also they're thinking about hosting something like that in Nevis, which the leader say he will sit down with the man for culture, your deputy, and see how they can start something like that, which I think it will be good exchange with bands. You know, it had band from St. Martin and St. Croix take place the weekend. But I have to congratulate that, and I set a young boy too, you know. It is so nice to see young guys a part of the culture. And then I say sometimes young guys don't have anything to do. But they have things to do. But I'm going to tell you this, which I was listening to your show earlier on, which is supposed to have a program talking about youngsters and marriage, right?
Yes.
And, Honorable, let me tell you something. When you speak about young people and talk about fathers and children, you start to speak. So with that, man, you will never finish. Because a lot of us, you know, come up without fathers.
Yes.
Even my mother, I to tell her plain out, me not about a father. But she did a good job in them time. But the modern youngsters them today is different. Because you know long time, the older one had to take care of the younger one, right? And when you get older, the other one take care of the other one.
Of course.
But it don't happen like so. The young parents teach the young sons to disrespect the little one and not go on. And also, some of us, I guess, say this anyhow, some of women go out there and get children and pay to admit to the lady who we have in the house that we have children outside. and some of that cause problem too.
Mm-hmm.
Because we won't own up to our damage. And I hear you speak about the young men who have 6 children. Some of these young soldiers feel getting children, it's okay a lot, because sometimes I tell you plain out, if you have to be true to children, honorable, you will never get the money in your pocket, you know.
Mm.
Because care for children is very expensive. Because I will tell you that I deal with 2, which I had to go to the bank to get loan to get them to college. And I say, good thing me had 3. And these are things sometimes you have to stand up and look at. When you have too many, how you get money to you? But the topic is very good, because, which I said, that they have a lot of youngsters out there who have fathers, and who have to blame some of the women them. But yeah, I have to blame ourselves too, because we go and get a lot of children and don't own up to our damage. Again, where I said that we feed, some of we married, get child out there. He ain't say nothing that they got brother and sister out there, and the children take it on.
Mm-hmm.
That he's my father and he own me, and you know he's mine, and he telling the wife, no, they keep a woman that by a fee to tell my wife that he's trying mine now. So it's a lot of big issues coming around fathers with children outside. But again, I want you to help out those guys, and we arrange something like what we had over the weekend, cultural, that we can exchange music. And I know it will get support if it happens, because a lot of people come from Nevis, not Nevis, St. Kitts, to support the string band music at that time. And I think I know you won't turn them down once they get it arranged and do it properly, right?
Definitely, brother.
All right, I will listen. So I will hold up the line for somebody else. All right, have a pleasant night.
But thank you for that very much. And just to let you know, I really enjoyed being in the BVI. It was a very short trip, but Peter Island is a very special place. So I was very happy to be there. And the event that I attended, the BVI Ideas Festival, was absolutely fantastic. So thank you as well, and thanks to the BVI for the hospitality.
All right, thank you, my brother.
All right, take good care. It's quarter past the hour of 9 o'clock, and we're taking your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of the show this evening. So there is quite a bit, as I said, to report on in terms of what's happening. I mentioned the fact that we have another movie, yet another one, that is being filmed currently on the island of Nevis. A testimony that our vision to create this film industry is bearing some fruit. We are celebrating our men today, Men's International Day, but we are also celebrating our men and boys continuing into tomorrow and Saturday. And we would have had earlier this evening representatives who came to speak to us about these significant events as we encourage our men folk to rise to their responsibility and, frankly, to be men. They are men, they must act like men, and that is what this is is trying to do, to elevate our men. We have been talking about development and where we're going here on the island of Nevis, and frankly I feel that I have never, since I've been in government, seen this level of interest from investors in the island of Nevis. But even as we encourage and facilitate foreign investment, I continue to urge our own divisions at home and abroad to invest. Those in the diaspora, those who are here at home, please invest. We've set up a special office. It's headed by Mr. Delvin Clark, and We have set up that office because we wanted to provide a one-stop shop for those in the diaspora. So if you're a returning national, if you're not yet ready to return, but you want to invest in Nevis, we have a special office set up for you to guide you through the process. We've published a policy in January of this year which sets out a number of concessions that you can access if you want to build or open a business. Bottom line is, we are encouraging our own people to invest in this, the land of their birth. Let it not be said by you that you were not asked, or you were not encouraged, or you didn't have the opportunity. We are laying out the red carpet. Come home, come home, come home. And when I say come home, I mean, yes, if you can physically come home, do that. But even if you can't physically come home, I'm encouraging our people abroad to invest at home. That has to be part of our economic growth strategy. And so I don't want our people to make the claim that they're not being given opportunity. In fact, as I said, the concessions that we've outlined in January this year are extensive. Please get a hold of it, get a hold of the policy, see how you can benefit, see how you can position yourself. You drive around Nevis, there are a number of abandoned homes, overgrown with what we call bibush, overgrown with what we call kusha. Those were once homes, inhabited and vibrant parts of the community. Everybody left. We went St. Martin, we went New York, we went England, we went Canada. Older parents died out, and these properties have been abandoned. They are now creating an eyesore all across this island. I need our people to take control of their properties. Invest in their restoration of these properties. Invest in creating something on those lands. Lands have value. And so many of us have simply left and not looked back. So help us. Help us. There's space here for you. This is your home. And I don't care how long you've lived in America. Nevis is your home. And if Nevis is your home, then Nevis is asking you to help us develop. We're asking you to come take care of those abandoned family properties that are all about this island. We see people coming into this island for work. There are a lot of jobs in Nevis. People are pouring in, especially our OECS brothers and sisters. You know, one of the things that they complain most about? There is not enough housing. In fact, one OECS national said to me, they cannot believe the number of abandoned properties they see in Nevis. And I said a lot of those properties, in fact, most of those properties are owned by people overseas. Come home. Come home. Come home. I need our people to invest. I need our people to take that interest. Yes, we like when you come for Christmas sometimes. Yes, we love when you come for Culturama. But we also want you to invest. We want you to take charge of them old abandoned family properties. Develop them. Create an Airbnb. Build something. Put them on rent. There's money to be made. Invest. As I said, I don't even care if it's a little Freco stand. Do something. Employ somebody here. Pay a little social security here. Pay a little tax. Help Nevis. It cannot be simply that you are on the keyboard ranting and raving from your approach abroad. You must do a little more than that. And we are creating the framework for you to do exactly that. Creating a specialized office. Creating a specialized policy. Please take advantage of it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is On the Mark. 22 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock, and we're going to 10 o'clock. We are inviting your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. Those are the numbers to call if you want to be a part of this show. And we're hopeful that you will call so that I don't need to continue speaking all night. But, of course, if you don't call, then I will have to continue to do my best. But those are the numbers, and we would be privileged and honored if you would pick up the phone and call in and share your views, your thoughts on this or any other matter that we are discussing this evening. Now, we are going into our budget discussions at the start of December. As a matter of fact, I think I've been advised that the budget will be presented on the 2nd of December. So for those of you out there who follow Parliament, I would want you to make a note of that on the 2nd of December, we have the budget presentation in the Nevis Island Assembly. That budget will set out what our plans and projections are for the new year. And we are hoping through that budget to focus on sustainability. It's now become a watchword. There are many people who are speaking about sustainability, but we're trying to streamline sustainability into all that we do. It is important. I said streamline, I think I meant to say mainstream. That is the proper expression. So we're putting sustainability into the veins and the arteries of all that we do in the country. And that for us is very important. And so you're going to see us rolling out some very important projects. We are committed to the geothermal project. Incidentally, I can advise that we have now selected a driller for the production wells. I cannot yet disclose who that driller is because there's still some processes that need to be completed, but I can tell you that that bid process and selection process is now at an end. We anticipate, therefore, that the drilling for geothermal will start in the new year. When that starts, we hope to simultaneously go to the market to try to get the financing for the plant construction and the upgrades that will be required to our grid. If all goes as planned, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Nivisions and Kitchens, we will get to a point where this island is the greenest place on planet Earth. We'll get to a point where we can transform this economy from what it now is, heavily dependent on tourism, heavily dependent on financial services, heavily dependent on citizenship by investment, into an economy that is energy driven. No different to Saudi Arabia or Norway, save that our energy will be renewable energy, and therefore, unlike fossil fuel energy, will do no harm to the environment. So that for us is a major development. We are forging ahead, as I mentioned earlier, with our airport development. That again is a significant investment for the island of Nevis. We have secured the financing. We are now just waiting to proceed with the construction of that facility. That facility will allow us finally to take direct flights from places like Miami and the eastern seaboard of the United States. We look forward to the day when a major airline touches down at the Vance Amri International Airport. Geothermal, our airport, connectivity, energy, transportation. And then we're looking at significant investment. We have the Destiny project that is proposed. We're discussing some other projects as well. And I want our people to see the synergy here of what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve energy security. We're trying to achieve greater airlift and transportation links. We're trying to achieve greater investment, both foreign and domestic. The result is that they complement each other. The sustainability zone legislation was designed in such a way that any business that is setting up, any investor that is coming in, has to provide their own energy. They have to provide their own water. They have to provide their own waste management. And that energy, 70% of it has to be renewable. Already these investors are saying, hey, we want to take some of that geothermal energy and pay you for it so that we can run our homes and businesses in the southern part of Nevis. I want our people to appreciate that with an increased population within that zone, and incidentally, let me make the point that we've said 7 to 10,000 residents. Some people feel that a plane is going to land tomorrow with 10,000 people and drop them on Nevis. That is not the way development works. We expect 7 to 10,000 people over the life of this project. The project quite ambitiously said they can build it out in 10 years. But I reminded someone up to today that the Four Seasons has only recently broke ground on the last phase of their development, 35 years after that investment came to Nevis. Put differently, they are still building. And so we anticipate that any significant project, including a project like Destiny, will continue to build into the far future. And therefore, it is not that 7 to 10,000 people are going to descend on Nevis tomorrow. We expect that people are going to come to Nevis over time. As units are built and sold, as villas are built and created. Because if 10,000 people arrive in Nevis next year, where are they going to stay? Where are they going to live? So we must, again, when we think about development, this is long-term. This is long-term planning. That is what we're looking at. And so when those people, over the long term, arrive in Nevis, how are they going to travel? How are they going to get here? How are they going to move back and forth? How are they going to go and visit family in the outer world? They need an airport. They need air links and connectivity. So our airport now at Van Zandt becomes even more relevant. The dance now starts to pay for the lights. Those people are going to need food. Look at the tremendous opportunity for some of our farmers. I see 1 or 2 of our farmers cussing and carrying on and railing up and saying the most awful things. They don't want any zone, they don't want this and they don't want that. And I'm saying, if only they would look at the potential that instead of selling 10 pounds or something, they could sell 1,000. Instead of being a one-man band, you could now employ several people, expand your farm, because people are going to need food to eat. Egg production, lettuce, leafy greens, you name it. The possibility now will be there and the opportunities are endless. So I say these things to say that we can continue a posture of looking at Nevis and looking at development and either saying we don't want any development or looking at the opportunities here and saying, well, nothing much is happening, the glass is half empty. But I'm the eternal optimist. I see our glass as being half full and I want to make it 3/4 full, then I want to make it full, then I want to make it running over. Let our blessings flow like a mighty stream. Let our people benefit from those blessings. Airport will support any large development in terms of air traffic. And any large development will support the airport. Geothermal will ensure that we pay less for energy and we have cleaner energy. Energy that does no damage to the environment. That will then be used, whether it's inside hotels, restaurants, inside Destiny, if Destiny happens, inside all of our resorts. Imagine a Nevis where we can now take our entire fleet of transportation and transform that into electric vehicles, scooters, buses, cars. That's the Nevis of the future. And I continue to encourage our people to embrace that future. Do not be afraid of it. Whilst I recognize that some are timid and some are fearful, we can never know what is in the ocean if we are not prepared to leave the shore. I heard someone with that quote the other day and I decided I'll use it as often as possible because it is true. We can never know what is in the ocean if we are afraid to leave the shore. And the world has shown us that it rewards those who are bold, who can seize opportunity, who have a vision and can execute that vision in order to move themselves and their country forward. And that is what, ladies and gentlemen, we're seeking to do. This is On the Mark. We have about 29 minutes left, and we're asking for your calls at 869-469-1616 and 869-469-1700. For some reason, the phones aren't ringing. I'm hoping that the phones are working, because ordinarily we have a lot of calls and we haven't had many at all this evening. But as I said, one thing about this show, the band must go on. While I enjoy the calls, and that is an important part of what we do here, certainly sometimes we have a glitch and we can't get calls. But in those circumstances, we continue the narrative because we think that is important. So, I'm encouraging our people to engage. I'm encouraging our people to get involved. And it is, for me, a very important process. Now, some say, oh, the majority of people are opposed to this development or that. The voice of the majority says this, or the voice of the people says that. And I keep encouraging you, when you speak, speak for you. Tell us what you feel. Tell us what you think. Stop trying to speak for the people of Nevis. If there's any person who's qualified to speak for the people of Nevis, it's those who have been elected by the people of Nevis. Because the people of Nevis went out and reposed their trust and confidence in them. Instead, I hear all kind of pundits, some of them we don't even know who they are, pontificating about what people want and what the majority say. Well, how you know it's a majority? A fellow tell me the people he talked to tell him this and tell him that. I said, well, those are the people you talk to. But are you talking to the same people that I am talking to? The answer is no. And so sometimes we get into an echo chamber with 5-6 people shouting at the top of their voices, saying all the same thing, and we say, boy, we got a majority here. But we forget that there are 200 outside the door who are not saying a word, who choose not to be on social media or on the radio, but who nevertheless have their own opinions, strongly held, about how they can develop Nevis and what their ideas are. They're not going to call in tonight. They're not going to say anything on Facebook or social media. But they're going to send a text, they're going to send a WhatsApp. And they're going to say, I'm praying for you. I encourage you. Stay the course. You're on the right path. Nevis needs development. If those lands are not developed, they'll stay in that state for the next 100 years. Nothing has happened in that area for the last 100 years. Those are the kinds of comments that I get. Youngsters who see me and give me a thumbs up and say, get the project started. Get Nevis moving. We want to hear heavy equipment moving. We want to hear back on truck moving. Get the island going. And despite that, I continue to say to my team, let us consult. Let us listen. Let us listen to all the voices, even those voices who are sometimes saying things that are untrue. Let us nevertheless lend them our ear. And let us hear from everyone, so that at the end of the day we can say with great authority and with great conviction that we consulted widely, we listened broadly, and the decisions that we have taken have been decisions informed by what we have heard. And we've heard a lot of amazing points and amazing arguments. Every single consultation we've had, we've taken something away that has assisted in informing our position going forward. So yes, we have been going about this, I think, in the most important way, the purest form of democracy is what you're seeing here in the island of Nevis. Have we been criticized? Yes. Sometimes virulently so. But I keep saying to our people, let us cherish the fact that we live in an island and in a country where nobody is above criticism, where we can hold our leadership to account, where we can take to the airwaves and to social media and to the newspaper to criticize our leaders, because in some countries it is not so. In some countries it is not so. And so let us, even though sometimes the noise is unbearable, continue to cherish the fact that we live in a democracy, and that in our democracy every voice must contend, every idea must contend, and that we as a people must be tolerant of each other's views. That for me is important. But I mentioned the various developments that we're thinking about, the various developments that we intend to execute in short order. Airport, geothermal, some private sector investments that we anticipate are going to come. And we start to see how they are all connected. Our hospital and the completion of that wing, all connected. The growth in population, all connected. The invitation to our diaspora to come home, all connected. We're trying to grow Nevis. Create a bigger, better, brighter Nevis for all. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking your calls. 869-469-1616 and 1700. Let's go to the phones. Good evening, you're on the mark.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Good night, Premier Brantley.
Yes, good night, my brother.
How you do?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am okay. Premier Brantley? I am listening to a lot of chatter in the island, right?
Mm-hmm.
About the proposed project. And most of the chatter, what I notice, is more political than anything else. So that some people, if they support one side, the argument is going to skew a certain way. And if they support the other side, the argument is skewed the other way. And I said to a few people, if you're asking only political questions, don't be surprised if you get political answers. Well, this is how I feel so far, because I've been listening and trying to gather information. And this is how I feel so far. If it is that the government is looking at trying to move the island forward, and a certain developer come and say they want to do certain things, well, what the government has to do is to look very carefully at what the proposals are and see whether they can work with it or not. I also feel, right, that there's no need for people to jump to conclusion very quick to say whether they are for or against the project, but rather to listen enough and see if they feel that the government is genuinely trying to do something to move the country forward, or if they feel that the government is just being malicious and don't care. Because I am the head of a household, and sometimes I have to take certain risk. Right? So that I might be able to make a profit. And I find government is the same thing. The government, they have to see what they can do to move the country forward. If it is that people can prove that the government is being just being no care, then that's a different thing. And that's why I say people should wait a while and listen enough and gather enough information. I am not going to jump up and say quickly whether I am for or against something before I have enough information. I don't operate that way. But one of the things that I know, when proposal come, as I say, the government have to look at it very carefully, listen, and see whether they can work with it, and see whether in these small islands, whether they can have the mechanisms in place that, would be able to keep certain things in line. We are only a small island, and, some people are saying, no, this and all that. But that is for the government to look carefully, and sometimes too, I also feel that what some people can do is listen enough so that they can come up with ideas, and rather than just cuss and make noise, bring some ideas to the government that would help. I find that sometimes would be a better thing to do. I could say for my own self, I have certain reservations myself, but I'm not going to jump up quick and criticize the project or say I'm for it or I'm against it. I'm going to listen and see. I live in the great United States. I travel Europe, I travel Africa, I travel South America, I travel Central America. And I see people do different things, and sometimes I say, boy, that's going to work out. And when you look, sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't work out. But risk is a part of anything kind of business. And so I really, really feel, as I say, of course, people will have the reservation. But what I would caution, though, is that people don't jump up and voice opinion for or against too quick. Gather information and see how you can help inform the government and show them where they see certain loopholes which might not benefit the country. And I find that would be a better thing to do. Because some people forget sometimes that these are only small islands. We don't have a lot of people live here. We don't have a lot of billionaires and millionaires living here. And, sometimes I sit down and I hear some people say, oh, Nevis is on par with any part of the world. We have the amenities that the developed part of the world had. We have Wi-Fi, we have good Wi-Fi, we have good electricity, we have good water, we have this and that and so on, so on, so on. And I said to myself, I wonder if they know that these things cost a lot of money. When you have a small country of, about 15,000 people, that is not even a proper village in some of these big industrial countries that they are saying that we are on par with. Where they think the money is going to come from. So, what I would say to you, Premier Brantley, walk carefully and listen and see how best you can help to develop the country. I'm not only talking about no destiny. I'm talking in general. Mm-hmm. And, I am not going to jump up and criticize quickly. Although I have to say, honestly, I have my reservations about certain things, but I don't think it's for me to jump up quick and start to say, oh, and criticize as if to say, unless that I feel that the government is really just being malicious and don't care. Good night.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you for that. Let's stick with the phones. We have another call coming in. No? Caller, please call back in. We're so sorry. 869-469-1616 and 1700. Let's go back to the phones. Good evening. You're on the mark.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
So good to get in.
Yes.
Mr. Brantley, I would like to advertise my society, Nevis Blind, Light and Visual Impaired Society's launch. It will be next Wednesday, God willing, from 11:30 until 2 p.m. And we'll be having corn meal as usual with okra. We will have vegetables, what we call ground food. They will be on the same area. For meat, we will have fish, chicken, pork, and mutton. We will have seasoned rice. We will have rice and peas. We will have plantain. we'll have curry the banana, we will have banana saute, we will have other vegetables to back up that. We should be having potato as well. Now, when I say potato, I mean cheesy potato. We'll be having steamed vegetables, because we realized the last time when we had this green salad, it was not well received by the public. And so we've gone back to steaming our vegetables. We hope the public would come out and support us as usual. For drinks, we will have golden apple, gooseberry, ginger beer, ginger passion, we'll have sorrel, and we'll have tamarind. Please, to the public, please, we will need you to bring along your bags to put your lunches in, because we don't use the plastic bags anymore. I don't even know where they are these days. So help us out in that department, and try. It will be from 11:30, as I said before, until 2 p.m. And tickets are on sale, and we are also receiving monies at the door. So we are thankful. Mr. Brantley, have your 7 tickets, and I'll get them to you somehow. And thanks a lot for the sale.
Well, let me ask you something. You get paid for the last 7?
Mr. Brantley, you just like to bother me up, you know?
Let me ask you, because...
Mr. Brantley, listen here. You remember I tell you, bad payment kill it? Bad payment. You like to trouble me a lot. But listen here. I got paid. Me get a little tip and all. Imagine, yeah, me get a little tip and all. So maybe it's a good thing that I got paid late.
You got interest.
Yes, I got some interest.
So let me ask you something.
Happened?
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
You say that you are having this for the visually enlightened impaired, yes?
No, the society named Nevis Blind, Light and Visually Impaired Society.
Okay, blind, light and visually impaired.
Right.
Yes. So who cooking all of this food?
Well, we have different chefs. We do most of the cooking at the building.
Okay.
Ocean View has been with us over the years.
Yes.
They have been there almost when we started. As a matter of fact, I think one of the first checks we got for the society came from them. I hope I'm right there, but they have been with us. And if I must tell you, when I want to teach and I be cook about agriculture, they too know. Mrs. Pemberton, hail up, and I like it, you know. But I still got to work with you. But so we do have our cook, and we have people who do catering in our organization as well. And so I'm trying to look for a cook right now, somebody who can really cook. You know, cook like 10 pounds of rice and so with peas one time. And yeah, and that will be fine. Even if I got to give you some change for the day. Once me get proof that you cook up, it's all right. I don't even know if you must give me number on the ear. But I'm not afraid. It's 2023. It's a landline 469-2023. Because when me get meeting, me have to stop some people and tell me, hey, this phone call in for you and me. Don't try no foolishness with me. But anyway, Mr. Brantley, back to you now. You usually pay me early. I have to give it to you. But you must, when you see me come and talk to you publicly, just keep your mouth shut.
Okay.
Over certain things. Next week is the graduation at the Gingerland High School. Jeshawn, I want to big you up on behalf of the Nevis Blind, Light and Visually Impaired Society. You continue to have ambition, continue to work hard, and try your best. And most importantly, you have manners to who you meet. Try and pull somebody else with you, or some child. And this is also for Garfield's daughter there, and Denver. I am very proud of her as well. She is now on her own up to a point. And you all will have employment and employ people in time to come. And she's doing her business there, doing her cookery, the things that she likes to do. And so I'm very pleased about them. There are 2 of our children which had scholarships and have come out well. We have scholarships. The thing is coming up sometime next week. I can't promise I'll be there, but even one member will be there to thing. And Jeshana waiting on you. He failed one subject, and we are going to take care of that too. so we try our best with them, Mr. Brantley. We have most of our scholarship came out of St. James's. We had a few from St. James's. One of them was a kind of a thing. When I say so, I'm not, it's not being degrading anyway, but, you know, sometimes people try and they do some kind of things, which is naughty. But I will need to look at St. Paul for scholarship and St. Pharmacy.
You want the St. John's?
St. John, you don't get two.
Oh.
You see that?
Well, you not mention us, that's why I got to ask you.
Somebody asked me the other day, you know. But I won't say the whole thing, but they tell me. But they say, I know they're listening too. But he said, Jennifer, you know better think you're going to let the scholarship go down the pathway now. I said, no. One is from Gingerland, and I had to make sure Gingerland got one. Got me and Gingerland, okay? And so I said to him, the child is from Rollins. He said, oh, okay then. And I had trouble not go or anything else again. But I try my best, as well as the organization, to make sure. But if I even say I talk about it as the organization.
Sure,
we work together as a team.
Sure.
And why I feel good back to those two children is because the Caribbean Council for the Blind, the motto is a disability is not an inability. And I try to tell them, try and hold on to whatever they can do. Because once you have a disability, no matter what the disability is, people believe that you must be the last to be hired and the first to be fired. So you have manners and know what you're about. And our mission statement for our society is equality despite disability. And that's why I'm very pleased with them. And so the others come in. We have some more there with scholarships, and we try our best. I want to big up Felicia. I don't remember the name of the group that they have right now, but they work along with people that come to Four Seasons and all that. And when I got the call from her and I said what I said to her, she said, yes, that's why. Laura and the others want, you know, what you're doing, continue. Because I mentioned the scholarship, because I always want to know that we are comfortable with the money for our children's scholarship. We have a couple from our organization. They don't come meeting anymore. But for the past few years, they make sure, Jennifer, I'm sending you a check for $1,000. So we make sure that the scholarship come out of that. Whatever is left, they go to their membership. And I got from Laura them. I went to Four Seasons. I went down there about maybe 3 times. I met with Laura first, and then met with 2 different groups, 42 or so of them. And I tell them that plainly, I am glad that they found us and not we found them, and they know what's going on in our organization. You understand, Mr. Brantley? Because we try our best, and they gave us $5,000, $5,300. I hope no change on it. I can't see to give all the story in my iron head. But I know for sure because $5,300, and because we're the type of organization, as I said years ago, I don't have a problem if anybody meet me up and say, well, Jennifer, how much money you make for the lunch? How much you make for the concert? How much you get for the walkathon? Whatever it is. We don't do walkathon for years now. But whatever we do, I should be able to say, hey, we made 6,000 or whatever it is. But we had to take out such and such for bills. You understand where I'm coming from? Because it's the public that help us. So we are very thankful for those who open their arms to donate and give. And the minister from Charleston, I've been trying to get it to you know. And I know he is listening. But I just wanted to sponsor one of the cases at chicken, even though we don't buy it. So, Mr. Minister in Charleston, listen out for me, please. Jennifer Freeman asking quite humbly, and I don't believe you want to say no. But we are trying our best, Mr. Brantley. When you asked me that question, you wanted to give us some more money on the ticket?
No, you say something maybe you're not supposed to discuss, so we want to discuss it now again.
Well, Mr. Brantley, well, we're talking openly here and in the public.
Well, how you want to
If you
talk
gonna give
openly
me an
now?
extra $100. Just say it's an extra $100.
Lord,
Or
you,
we're going to give you $50 for a ticket. And Mr. Brantley, I'm looking for you to come for your food.
Jennifer, you know, I always follow your lead. I always take your advice. You
So you're gonna
said
give me
to
the
you
extra-
said to me certain things we shouldn't discuss on air, and then you start to try to discuss them. I don't mean I understand you. You confuse me.
No, me not confuse you. I don't speak clearly anymore. I don't speak clearly,
But
Mr. Brantley.
you spoke clearly earlier, and I tell you, okay, now you change your mouth on me.
Anyway, I'm going to try to give my neighbor the ticket. Whoever catch to you first, I might catch you first. But you know, whoever me catch me go with.
No problem. We'll
But
we'll
I
work with you as
think-
always, my
So
dear.
the 7 tickets are there. So
Yes.
you know you want your corn meal and you don't bother cut no style. Come up for your corn meal or send for it.
All right. And let me because we're running out of time. Let me just
Yes.
publicly thank you
Uh-huh.
and congratulate you because no, the work that you're doing
the
is
society, Mr.
it's
Brantley,
important
me
work.
nearly 71. And to be honest, I just want to give up the leadership. I know persons in the public don't want to hear it. I know persons even in society don't want to hear it. But it comes a time that, you know something? Our organization is in its 29th year. And it is unbroken years. You know? And from then we used to do tea parties and so, and walkathons, and then some persons started leaning more to the lunches, and some people, especially men, who say, well, no, so you can't get it 4 times a year. Say, you all don't know the portion of work. They don't know the all kind of thing we just got to fight with. You know what I mean? And the other members, that's why I'm glad we work as a team. Because if you don't have team spirit and so, things will fall. And that is why we could still be together as an organization for 29 years going. And so we are thankful. You know, sometimes we ask some people, you know, and they play smart. Lord, I admire you, but I don't get $1. Mine $1 for walkathon, you know, the person listening too. But yeah, right. But you ask them for something, they're going to tell you yes. And when the time comes, Mr. Brantley, I don't know if the yes spell backward or what. I have to understand what yes means. But God is great, and we trudge along and we help ourselves. We ourselves put finances into the organization. And that is why we could come so far.
Well, you tell me you've been going for 29 years. You've been
Going on 29.
You've been the president all the time?
That's why I need to step aside.
Or you're president for life, man?
Man, no, I don't like to hear people say.
I mean, they call that dictator. That's what you are.
Oh, no.
No?
I can be a little laissez-faire, but I'm very... Let me tell you something, Mr. Brantley.
Yes.
If it's one thing me understand a leadership, you know, hear me don't tell you already last December that there are times when you just got to let things pass.
Yes.
When you got to understand, and when you come to management, I like it, and I understand it, and it's a part of me, and me did management, so me know how it go. Me know that the government sent me a Barbados 1987 for nothing. So I know how to plan, organize, direct, control, coordinate it. So that's what I mean, you know?
All right,
So
my friend.
I try to make sure I pass it on.
Yes.
That's what I want somebody to take it up from me. By the way, we need members. I need persons in the public to understand that we need members.
All right. Well, the
Now,
band...
them not have to be all like me, but
Okay.
if you all like me and you still step in, come.
All right.
If you're 20s, 18, wherever you become.
All right.
Mr.
Well,
Brantley, you have a good night.
yes. Thank you, my dear.
And God bless and
All right.
keep you.
And
Thanks
God
for the
bless you,
time.
and thank you again for all the work that you're doing.
Okay.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is our show. The banner struck up. It means we have to go. I want to thank all who participated this evening. Again, happy International Men's Day for all the men folk out there. Please take advantage of the opportunities that are coming up tomorrow and Saturday to celebrate men and boys. We're doing our best to be an inclusive society. That's our show. This show is rebroadcast tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on Von Radio, the Eastern Caribbean's only powerhouse. Good night, and God bless you.